I want to welcome back Pablo Palomino from Mint Cannabis. We talked last month about what was going on with federal scheduling, especially impacting medical marijuana. And when we left the conversation, we both acknowledged that there'd be hearings coming up at the end of the month, and we'd get back together and see if we knew anything more. And so here we are. So thanks very much for taking the time. Uh, and just thanks for your time. So I think at the time, I don't think I realized that these would be closed door hearings when we talk next time. So some of this is maybe a middle of the story conversation with you, because maybe we talk again in a couple of weeks when there's been some kind of an announcement, right?
The 15th.
Yeah, yeah. So, but there's enough that I've read and heard about people from people who have been in the hearings, that I think there's some interesting things that are happening, and I'm curious to know how Mint will react. And then just from your point of view as like an expert in the industry, what do you think is going to happen in terms of just industry impact? So other companies in your space, insurance companies, regulators, people in healthcare, like there's a lot of things that might come out of this. Um, so before I ask you my prepared questions, is there anything that you have an insight into, or is there anything you want to say to kind of kick off our conversation?
Not well. It's really going to depend on a lot of what's going to happen on July 15th, right? That's really where
Yeah,
the conversation is going to be able to move any different than it already is.
right.
There's a lot of we're missing still a lot of information. A lot of rules are still being waiting to be written, so we're kind of all in the limbo right now.
Are you having conversations about I'm remembering last time we talked, and I didn't realize this as clearly as you made it clear to me, where you operate differently in different states. So there's states where you're medical only, there's states where you're also adult use. Uh, the question that I have though for a company like yours or other people in your space, right? Um, if the reclassification, if the Schedule 3 happens, right? Are you already thinking differently about how you're compliant in terms of the federal government, and how you separate the way you run a medical operation from the way you might run an adult use operation, say in a state like Michigan?
Got it. So compliantly, we always run to the higher standards, right? So regardless of which market is medical or recreational, the difference that it will make, it will be on some of the advantages we might have on a medical market, such
Hmm.
as the elimination of 280E if it does go through and what is going to happen. But like I stated previously, it's a little bit soon right now to see how it's really going to impact us. There's a lot of hearsay, a lot of possible
Yeah,
outcomes, but until those rules are really come out and it's still a very early state for all this to see any type of impact.
right. And once things are announced on the 15th or thereafter, I'm imagining it's not going to all take impact you the next day, right? There's
Correct.
going to be some kind of a period of time to comply or adjust your operations based on what we're told, correct?
That is absolutely correct because this is not something that can get changed right away. I mean, we're running through state entities. Everybody's going to know what rewrite the rules they want to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of research that needs to go into this before any changes go into an effect. Just
Yep.
that's just the way the industry is.
So would you, it occurred to me that legalization at a federal level has its upside, but it also has its downside, right? In a way, or at least it triggers a change that creates more work. And one of the things I think about is how, as a consumer um, of a recreational product, um, it's kind of like some days I want my favorite craft beer and some days I want a martini. So I like that variation from a recreational point of view. But from a medical point of view, I don't want any variation at all if I'm relying on it because of something physical, whether it's sleep or pain or PTSD, right? And so that gets into standardized dosing, or it gets into standardized testing. And I'm wondering if you guys talk about how do you fulfill a market's desire for variety and then a market's demand for the same every time
Well,
in a guaranteed, almost reliable way.
it's definitely juggling game, right? We need to make sure that we provide the best product available
Yeah.
with most compliance and quality. But then again, we need to listen to our customers, see what they're looking for in the moment. And it's just really a balancing act.
Hmm.
We got to make sure we have what customers are looking for while at the same time staying compliant.
Is Mint structured in a way that if I go into a dispensary and I'm looking for something that you don't have, or I have a question that is bothering me, do do those does that kind of feedback come back to you from sort of the frontline folks? Like how
Oh,
like do you have ways of understanding what the market's looking for?
definitely. We have our weekly meetings with each market, with
Mm,
regionals, with store managers. Every market has their meetings, and we go through what people are looking for, what's selling best, what are people looking for,
yep.
what do we not have on ourselves that are people being successful in other locations.
Hmm.
We,
Okay,
we
good.
get really close ear to the ground when it comes
Yep.
to what customers want.
One of the things that I see a lot, and I'm in Michigan, so I see it in the market here, is it's a tough business. The margins are thin, right? People pay a lot of attention to what their costs are, and so any kind of relief is a good thing. Um, what happens if all of a sudden the tax part of the costs go down? Do you think that will industry broadly sort of pass that on? Will industry reinvest that in better operations, more safety? What happens? Like, so if I'm a dispensary owner, right? What's going to happen to my finances in 6 months if where we think this is going to go is where it goes?
So if it does go recreationally, it's definitely going to impact the market a lot more, and
Yeah.
it will be something that it'd be a game changer, right? But it's a long way before that. Right now, it's only been in the medical market.
Yeah.
There's a select few medical licenses that will be affected, but we're a month in already, and there really are no rules. There's really no direction of how that's going to happen.
Hmm.
But like we talked last time, when it does happen, not only is in tax relief, but also it'll open up the banking, it'll open different opportunities for borrowing money at a more affordable rate as well. So
Right.
there will be a lot of changes and will be impact a lot. But again, it's not gonna happen tomorrow. It's a direction. The
Hmm.
needle's moving in the right direction, right? But we're a long way from that, I believe.
So moving, it's interesting when you mention like banking, for example. So part of what, I think a lot of people hope happens is it makes the industry less separate. So I can bank without paying a penalty. I can find a staffing company that's operating legally because they're allowed to provide, staff to my so anything from HR to cybersecurity to banking, it seems to me that all of those kinds of services are the services that as a startup, for example, you want fair access to those. And if you're paying a penalty every time, man, that's a tough industry to be in, right?
It really is. We love it. It's not a complaint, but it definitely we don't play as the same rules as any other business.
Yeah.
That's just cannabis, but still a fun game to be in.
You also have it's interesting that you say that because it's tough, but we love it. I've met a lot of people who they have a passion for this, especially if they're on the healing side or the medical side, or they're focused on, um, you know, a natural solution to somebody's depression, as opposed to pharmaceuticals that haven't helped them out or have been too expensive, right? So that's the upside. Is there a downside though, where it becomes easier for pharmaceutical companies or, you know, beer companies to buy up a smaller player. Is that something you're worried about? Is that a natural evolution of business and it's just going to play out? Right? Because does the industry move from specialty products and services by people who have a history in this and care about it to, you know, I think some people would say, oh, so now big pharma is gonna eat it all up. Do you think that's a concern?
So it's definitely out there. It's inevitable. I mean, big pharma, big tobacco, all this companies with real deep pockets, at one point or another is going to come in
Yeah,
and take a look at the market, right? That's what they do. That's their
sure.
intent to make money. We're very happy with what we're doing. We're growing every day. We love helping people, and as they say, why worry about something you cannot control? I
Right.
mean, do we worry? We don't. Do we think it's going to happen? We might get pushed out at one point or another
Yeah.
because, like I mentioned, it's inevitable. But we're happy with where this is going. We're having a lot of fun. We don't plan on going anywhere,
Yeah.
and we're just happy to be in this industry
That's
and
great.
providing something that helps people.
Yep. So last question I had, just thinking about the the impact of loosening things up or the impact of making it less forbidden or less connected to business in general is insurance. So if I'm a user of medical marijuana, but maybe I'm buying it as an adult use product, and now is there going to be a change where my insurance company is going to subsidize the cannabis that I need to treat my cancer pain, for example, right? And is that going to shift people's, first of all, perceptions of cannabis as, it's not just people getting stoned, it's people getting healthier. And the business side of it and the insurance side of it. What do you see happening there?
Well, I mean, all that you mentioned is I can say is true, but the question is when, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, at some point of might be in our lifetime or not, insurance company I believe will cover this because it is a medical benefit to consumers.
Hmm.
Opening it up, reclassifying, it's opening up for more studies to come about. It's opening the pathway for this to start happening, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I firmly believe that it will happen. The only question here is when, and it's something that I really have no idea. I
Huh.
don't have an answer for you on that one as to when.
Yeah. So, part of the reason I was looking forward to talking to you is because you're an expert. Mint is a well-regarded company. But for those of you out there who don't know, can you take a minute and tell me about the company, what's going on today, a little bit of your history, and tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you. Mint Cannabis, we started 9 years ago in a small town in Arizona called Guadalupe, Arizona. That was our first store, and that's pretty much what started it all.
Hmm.
Right after that location, we opened our second location in Mesa, Arizona, a tiny 1,000 square foot dispensary, but it quickly grew and it quickly became a force in the Arizona market. Between those two stores, that's really what started it all. It's a small group, and we're still privately owned. We are now multi-state operators. We are currently in 6 states. We're in Michigan, Illinois, Missouri, Nevada, um, Arizona, Florida,
Yep.
and we got a few other states in the pipeline that we're opening up. I
Oh,
mean,
good.
and very fortunate. One of the things that I believe has helped us versus many other companies is we all come from a marketing and a retail background, not
Hmm.
necessarily we're in for the business side of things, right? We love the product, we love our people, but we have a retail mind, and that's helped us in this space.
Hmm.
Right now, we're growing. We've been fortunate enough to be presented with great opportunities, and we strap down. We wear multiple hats. It's again, it's a small group of us that
Yeah.
really um, navigate this company, and it's just the love of it, I think that's brought us to where we're at.
What's it like to work at Mint? People talk a lot about company culture and, places that help you grow versus places that are kind of toxic. And, is Mint the kind of place I'd want to work at? Do you have long-term employees? What's it feel like to be part of the organization?
So I can tell you this, most of our regional and general managers right now in Arizona are people that started either in admin or receptionist,
Oh,
bartenders that have now led to managing a whole region. So that kind of answers your question
yeah.
there. I
Yeah.
can
So you're growing
tell you I
people
can
from
prop it
within.
up. I can sit here and tell you all day, hey, everybody loves us, but
Right.
it's the company. It's going to have the pros and cons. Some
Sure.
people are going to be extremely happy, other people are not going to like it. But I'll tell you, anybody that goes out and finds another job, they're looking to come back within 6 months. So
That's great to hear.
I can toot my horn, but I can only, but the facts will give you more information.
Yeah, because I'm glad you shared that because a lot of our coverage is about the business, but there's often stories that interest me as the publisher about the people. What's it take to do well? What kind of education? What kind of ongoing opportunities do you have? Because as much as the world has changed when you think about cannabis legalization, sitting right next to it, the world of work and technology have changed along with it. So when you look at the technology that drives a business, the people that drives a business, and then that business itself is still kind of new for some people, you're in a really exciting space.
It is very new and it's ever changing, right? I
Yeah.
mean, we've I like to say we're building the engine as we're flying the plane. That's kind of the way we go about things because that's just how fast it moves, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
9 years ago started where I was doing IT, I was doing graphic design, I was doing printing, I was doing all this stuff, right? And me and a buddy of mine, we would just go in and take care of everything in one store. Now we're at a point to where we have departments with 9, 10 people in each one of those
Hmm.
departments and continue to grow. It's just been fascinating. It's and like I said, we're having a lot of fun doing
Wow.
this. And
That's great. What a
we've done a lot of great things in our life, but this is one of the things where we come in every day and just are happy to jump in and tackle the next day.
That's cool. What a big change to be the guy wearing five hats, and then a couple of years later, there you actually have departments and organizations and an org chart. Because that in itself, you probably had to think differently about what you do every day as the organization matured.
Yeah, don't take it wrong. We're still wearing five hats, but
Yep.
now we've got people helping us wear them well.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So let me just end by saying, Pablo Palomino, Chief Branding Officer at Mint Cannabis. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks for your expertise, and I'm looking forward to talking to you again.
Thank you. Have a great day, Daniel.
You too. Thanks.